Hey guys, my name is Zach. Welcome to The Joy of Hobbing. Today we're taking a look at how to remove the fat suit on a Hot Toys Mandalorian. Now mine does have the fat suit removed, and you can see how nicely these arms articulate. This seems fairly basic, but on the stock figure, even just putting the arms up to do a shooting pose is extremely difficult because of the way the fat suit is built around the body. And I'll show you a photo of the fat suit a little bit later. But to start off, we're going to start removing all the accessories, so the rifle, the grenade, and the tracking fob. So we'll carefully remove those. And next up, we're going to start taking off the armor. Now, actually all of the armor is held on by Velcro. So we'll start here with the shoulders, and then we're going to work our way to the thighs. You can see I'm making left and right piles just so everything stays on its proper side. And then we're going to come in and start removing the hands and the gauntlets. Now, all this stuff is super easy to do. In fact, this whole teardown is really not much more complicated than our previous one. And so if you're a beginner, I think this is a perfect figure for you to work on. Now, we're going to start by removing the feet and the shin pads here. And those come off pretty easily. Those are actually two separate pieces. And we'll take off the left knee pad, which is just secured on by a piece of elastic on the back. And so that'll slide straight down. And at this point, we're going to go ahead and take off the head as well. And that is actually on there pretty good. So you want to grasp the figure at the torso and pull that off. Now we're going to slide the shoulder belt out of the way. And we're going to remove the front armor piece, which is held on by those Velcro pieces there, as well as the back armor piece. Now you can see here, this belt is cinched a little tight along with the other pieces of Velcro here. And that is because when you remove the fat suit, the figure, of course, does slim down a bit. And we're going to take note of that and replicate that when we put it back together. The belt is held on by a piece of Velcro, and then you need to work it around the top of the cape and over the arm, and you'll slide that out. And you have your belt and the hip armor off in one assembly, which comes off here, which is like a fabric belt. Then the last thing we're going to do is we're going to pull the cape over the neck, and we're going to undo this vest here and pull that down. And now we're left with just the jumpsuit. Now, I will say that you probably definitely don't want to remove the cape from that vest there. I did on my first attempt, and figuring out how to get it back was a bit of a pain in the butt. But the pants come off easily, and then this top here is held on by a zipper. There's no pull tab on the zipper. You just got to use your finger to pull it up. And the zipper doesn't actually finish. It's sewn shut. So when you get it to the top, you'll pick the arms up and you'll take the shirt off and you have the naked body. Now, remember I said this does typically have a piece of foam there on the neck and a bodysuit, but I've removed both of those. The bodysuit, like I said, it did restrict quite a bit of articulation. And that foam at the top, removing it allowed me to add a Pedro Pascal head from Watto's Scrapyard. But we'll talk about that head on next week's episode. So here's what we're left with, just a basic slim shouldered Hot Toys body. And we'll go ahead and get on with the reassembly. And reassembly is super easy. Like I said, this is definitely not a difficult figure to work on. If you're someone that's even just casually messed with figures before, this is pretty simple. Definitely a lot easier than like a Boba Fett teardown by Sideshow. With that one, there's a lot of pieces that you have to crack open, or even like a Hot Toys Stormtrooper, First Order Stormtrooper, or original trilogy. They are a bit of a pain. So we'll put this vest back on first, and again we'll use our finger here to basically kind of pull that zipper down. And then we're going to go ahead and go on with the pants, making sure to put the Velcro parts forward. Remember, the thigh armor will attach to that. And this shirt does get tucked into these pants, like you can see here. Takes a second, but you want to get that nice and tucked in. Now, removing the fat suit, like I mentioned earlier, everything does get a little looser. And so there's a few parts of the reassembly that we'll call attention to, because I think some of the people that I've seen that have done this mod, they haven't futzed it properly, and it makes it look a little off. Not that I'm saying I'm like the greatest futzer of all time, but there are a few things that I think that you can do very easily during the reassembly to get your figure looking quite a bit better than if you didn't do them. Starting with this right here. Now this is held in on the back by a piece of Velcro, and you want to make sure that those Velcro tabs overlap a bit. You want to cinch it up a little bit tighter because again, that midsection did have that big piece of padding on before. Same with this vest here and the belt. We're going to tighten these things all on just a little bit tighter than they were before. So the Velcro with the fatsuit, everything will line up perfectly. But when you take it off, you do have to overlap that Velcro just a bit to get it to sit properly. So we're going to tighten that up. And the rough orientation that you want is the upper tan is just sitting above the lower darker brown tan, I guess like midsection garment. And you want to pull the top of the head through there because that's where your helmet's going to be eventually. Up next, we're going to go in and we're going to attach the chest piece. And again, we're going to make sure that the bottom of the red chest piece is sitting ever so slightly above the top of that breast cover. And we're going to cinch that on with the Velcro, making sure that those shapes all line up. And then we're going to go on with the back armor. And again, we're going to put that there with the bottom of that red armor plate just about sitting at the line that's created by that tan garment. Now we're going to fold the cape back over. And at this point, we're going to go ahead and do the bandolier / belt. We're going to put that over the shoulder, wrap that around the waist, and then we're going to pull the cape over that. And eventually we'll have a piece of leather bit on the back that we need to pull through the cape, but we'll do that right at the end. Now you want to pull this belt down a bit to create tension at the shoulder, and you also want to tighten this belt here a little bit tighter than it would have been if the fatsuit is there. Remember, we removed a bunch of material and thickness, and we need to make up for that by tightening this belt just a little bit. We're going to pull the cape over the shoulders and take a look at how things are going. And everything looks pretty good so far. We're going to go in with the Shore Trooper armor bits there. And then I'm just tucking in a little bit of the neck fabric. Again, because I'm using a custom sculpt on mine. So I need to do that. And we're going to make sure the belt buckle is centered. And we're going to pull that down to create tension there at the shoulder. At this point, we're going to go and attach the left shoulder and fold those capes over, make sure it's draping properly, which it looks like it is draping properly. And then we're going to go in with the gauntlets and the hands. You can see I fumble with this one for a bit, but it makes it easier if you bend the elbows and then push that through. Now, removing the fatsuit, the only part that I don't like is these gauntlets do become a little bit floaty. If I was to recommend keeping parts of the fatsuit, I think the only part that you really should keep is maybe the chest and then the shins and the forearms, and maybe taping those down. I think those are actually useful. But when you're doing more dynamic shooting poses, I kind of like the gauntlets being a little floaty because you can kind of position them however you like. But your mileage may vary on that. So I'm just futzing the cape here and futzing the belt and the shoulder strap. I'm just making sure those are all lining up along with the garments that are underneath them. But yeah, I definitely think that maybe there could be some benefit by keeping those things there, but I did do that where I cut the thing into sections, but eventually I ended up going with all no fatsuit at the end, just for the ease of articulation. Now we're gonna slide the knee pad up onto the figure, and we're gonna make sure when we slide this shin pad up, as well as the other one, that the pants don't get bunched up. Now, I mentioned earlier there's some things you can do to make this look better. A lot of times when I see people that have removed the fatsuit, they'll put this armor piece back on, but they won't tuck the pants into the shin. And you kind of get like this billowy pant effect, and it's not the greatest thing. Now, if you look here, right there when I did that, you saw how the pants kind of got real billowy. And I think even till the conclusion of this video, I didn't futz it properly. But you can get something like the end of like a paintbrush or just something like smooth and thin, and you can kind of stuff the pants back into the boots. And when you have the fatsuit, that's not a problem because everything's nice and tight. But when you lose the fatsuit, you kind of have to create that. You kind of have to push the pants back down into the boot. Otherwise, they just get all billowy up top. We're going to continue the futs here. I think the pistol strap got undone. But this is a really, really easy mod, like I said. And honestly, like when I first had mine out of the box, I couldn't get the arms to sit close to the body. I couldn't really do any poses that I liked. And having this removed, everything is just so much better, in my opinion, with the exception of the gauntlets and maybe the shins. But we're going to attach the thigh armor on here. Again, it's just a Velcro straps. You want to make sure to orient the right thigh is the red armor and the left thigh is the tan armor. And we'll start attaching the little accessories that we took off at the beginning of the process. The last thing that we'll do is, once we get everything done, is add the helmet, of course, and that's pretty easy to do. See, I'm still futzing with the accessories. And actually, I guess we'll go with the rifle first. But in order to attach the rifle, we need to pull these leather straps through, and that'll help hold the rifle closer to the body. And yeah, we're going to do that. And here we go, carefully with the peg here, because we've seen issues with... Some people have had issues with that, though. I will say that's actually not as bad as I thought. I felt like I had more issues with that. I felt like I was going to have more issues with that than I actually did. We're going to add that magnet there on the back. It's going to keep everything nice and tight. And then last but certainly not least, wow, we're going to pop that helmet back on and just go through and futz everything off camera. But yeah, 12 minutes. To disassemble and reassemble, definitely not bad. I think you can save yourself a lot of time by not removing every single piece of armor and keeping some, like the hip guards, attached, as well as keeping the cape on the body. But if you have any questions, please let me know. I'd love to be able to help you. It's very simple, but if there's anything I can do to help, please let me know. And if you like the video, give it a thumbs up, give us a subscription, and hopefully in the future, Dean and I will be able to do a comparison with an unmodified Mando and a modified one. But thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Catch you on the next one.